We had 3 contestants in the first heat, and the leader early on was up at the top of your picture.
Yeah, he ran out of his lane, so he's disqualified. He's out of there. And this other kid, this is a crawling race. Right here, you know, closest to the screen, he's going to get the DQ for...
Whoops, standing.
And walking.
Well, the commissioner of the league is here, fined him $2,000 for the illegal use of the legs. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this. 24th minute. The New York Jets. Dan, I was here last Sunday, and I saw the Cowboys lead the Giants 27-0. And the Giants came back and got in. You understand, I'm not suggesting that the same thing is going to happen, but could it?
Well, it could. I mean, that's the NFL, but the way the Jets are playing right now, they seem very flat. And remember the 49ers last week, they were embarrassed on defense by what Jim Kelly and the Bills did to them. Right now, they're very happy to have this shutout going. As you look at the way the first half possessions have gone for the Jets, the most valuable player for them now might be their punter.
Well, Ken O'Brien in the first half, 7 of 16, intercepted once, sacked 3 times. And the Jets will have to give it up. Louis Aguilar does the punting as well as the kickoff scores for the Jets. They were 8-8 a year ago, undefeated in preseason, 5-0. Lost in Atlanta, lost in Pittsburgh, and trailed here by 23. Very short. Fair catch called by Odessa Turner at the 26-yard line. The former Giant who played here for 4 years and was a Plan B acquisition of the 49ers in the offseason. So Steve Young and the 49ers back on the field. They've got a tough start to the season. They've 3 of their first 4 games on the road. They've also got to go to New England here in a couple of weeks, but the benefits come at the end of the season when San Francisco gets 4 of the last 5 in Candlestick. And, of course, it was a year ago they got off to a disastrous start, and despite winning their last 6 in a row, couldn't recover and didn't make the playoffs with a 10-6 record. First down and 10, a handoff to Ricky Waters, or it's Ampli. It is Ricky Waters, 32 instead of 22. And he's out to the 33-yard line.
And one of the other differences between this year and last year for San Francisco is this year they started out healthy. They haven't had the injury problems, although they suffered a real bad one in the first half when John Taylor broke his leg. But generally, along the offensive line, they've been healthy. Their secondary is probably their weakest unit on the team right now. But with the addition of Johnny Jackson, that seems to have been ironed out, at least so far this first half.
Second down and 3. Jerry Rice in motion. He's got is down, Foster with the block, and then Dennis Byrd comes up from behind and makes the tackle of Ricky Waters. And we'll check the flag. Jets offside.
This will give the 49ers a first down. Not the way you want to come out of the locker room and start
Offside.
your first.
Defense lined up in the neutral zone, number 94, 5-yard penalty. First down.
You come out of the locker room and you're going to be all fired up and we're going to say, hey, we're going to go 3 plays and out. We're going to get the ball back to our offense. We're going to get a turnover, all these other things, and bang, you have a mistake by Mercero, though, getting caught in the neutral zone, and a first down for the other guys.
And that wipes out the fine defensive play by Dennis Byrd. First down and 10, play action. Young, deep left side. Jerry Rice does a little tap dance on the sidelines with the catch in front of Mike Grimm at the 41-yard line.
Young continues to have a hot hand and a lot of confidence in his receivers. He cut this ball loose about 5 yards before Rice even got to the end of his pattern. Perfect timing, and he delivered a nice, high, soft ball for Rice to just go up and snatch.
3 catches for Jerry Rice for 46 yards now. Longest has been 21. Thomas and Baxter, the offensive backs, watch from the far sideline. As the 49ers have their way with the Jets, they're 24-zip early third quarter. That one taken short in front of Mo Lewis by Mike Sherrard. And that moves the ball to the 34-yard line.
Well, tempers are going to get a little bit short. Here's Harris Barton and Dennis Byrd. This is a pretty good battle here as Byrd gets tripped, and now Barton gives him a little shot in the back. I don't think Byrd liked that too much.
Hey, with Harris Barton playing well and Steve Wallace coming on, they've got a pretty decent pair of tackles, the 49ers here.
That whole offensive line is very versatile. They're not as big as some, but technique-wise, they're as good as anybody.
Into the flat, caught by Waters, stiff arm. And that gives him an additional 4 yards as Mo Lewis makes the tackle. We were chatting with Pete Carroll, the defensive coordinator of the Jets yesterday, and he said he thought that Bob McKittrick was one of the unsung heroes of the coaching staff of the 49ers. McKittrick, the offensive line coach.
Yeah, because he's been there a long time with San Francisco, and he's had to change personnel a couple of times. Generations of players have gone through there. A generation is like 5 years, and McKittrick's been there about 13 or so. So he's done a good job with anybody that they've given him to work with.
First and 10. In the backfield, Marvin Washington with the initial contact, and then Mark Gunn comes up to make the tackle. And it'll be second down.
The Jets desperately need a turnover. The bad thing is they're going against a team that's only had 4 turnovers in 2.5 games. 49ers have only lost 3 fumbles, and they've only been intercepted 1 time.
This is a Jet team that was plus 11 in turnover ratio in preseason when they were 5-0. They lost it 7 times last week on offense. Got a few on defense, but they're still negative for the year. Here's Young back. Flushed, goes left. Here's where that second play begins we were talking about, and Mike Gerard catches it out of bounds. Incomplete pass. But Pete Carroll talks about Steve Young making 2 plays out of 1. There was a good example. The first pass play didn't work, and then the second started.
And he used a 90s term as far as coaches speak is concerned, that language that only coaches use. He said that the Jets secondary have to maintain the integrity of their zone principles. What the heck does that mean?
You know, it's going around because earlier this summer I heard Rod Rust of the Giants say, well, we want to maintain the integrity of our 4 deep.
Yeah, and
okay.
I've always thought that's a very admirable thing to do. Maintain your integrity.
All of which goes to prove that it's not just a game of inches. It's a game of integrity.
That's not a bad way to make everybody happy. Might as well score if you're going to end up with the ball.
3rd and 13. Steve Young and the 49ers with 11:22 to go, 3rd quarter. Odessa starts in motion. And Young will scramble. It's a block from Rathman. Cuts to the outside. And gets a first down at the 19-yard line. A gain of 15 for the guy who doesn't want to run.
Yeah, so much for his new philosophy, huh? I mean, watch as he steps up in the pocket, and now he's a dangerous good block. And then lowers his shoulder and picks up the first down. The point he was trying to make, though, about the philosophy is that when he runs with the ball, the offensive line thinks that they didn't do a good enough job of protecting him, and the receivers think that they didn't do a good enough job of running the route and getting open. But that's pretty good results, though, when he does run with the ball. I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed there.
Handoff comes right to Ricky Waters. Scott Mercereau with the tackle.
Boy, sometimes you get the ball and you got blocking, and then all of a sudden a green door just shuts, and it's Mercereau and gang. And they need a lot more of that. They got to start ripping that ball out, trying to create a turnover of some kind.
Philly continues to win. Bobby Hebert threw a touchdown pass. Steve DeBerg threw one for Tampa, and they lead. And Cincinnati trying to go 3-0. Kansas City still leads over Houston. Second down and 8. 24 zip. That's Waters in motion going side. Young finds his tight end, Jamie Williams. And James Hasty makes the tackle at the 10-yard line.
Nice job of play action fake. And the key here is the movement of the offensive line as they come out to the right side here. And watch the linebackers. They're going to notice that. Young, with his running ability, throws a nice soft pass to Young. And that sets up a 3rd and short.
There's Bob McKittrick, the offensive line coach. He has been there for a long, long time. 3rd down and 2. 24-0 game. Waters on the sweep. And he's got a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Mo Lewis did a pretty good job of knocking McIntyre back into the play, and that slowed things up, but not before Lonnie Young made the tackle, and the 49ers got the 1st down.
And you see Dennis Byrd getting up a little bit slowly, and he's going to have to go off the field. He was in on that big hit on Waters.
Officials have called a timeout, and Dennis Byrd bent over at the 7-yard line. 1st and goal for the 49ers, and Byrd joins the injured list. We'll check on the nature of the injury in just a moment. Raquel.
One company in America, Chrysler, has found a new way to develop cars. Instead of designers, engineers, manufacturers, and parts suppliers all working separately, they found a way to work as one. In something called...
Open this 3rd quarter. They've moved to a 1st and goal. Coming up next Saturday, baseball. Either the Mets at Pittsburgh or Chicago at Montreal. 2:30 next Saturday on CBS. 1st and goal from the 5. Waters sweeps left, bounces off a tackle, and is down at the 1-yard line. Kyle Clifton makes the stop. Waters now with 13 carries. Excuse me, Dan.
Well, nice opening drive for the 49ers of the second half. They're working on the clock pretty good. Already 7 minutes have gone by in this 3rd quarter, and it appears they're headed in for another 6 points.
Meanwhile, Dennis Byrd getting some medical attention on the Jet bench. 2nd and goal for 1. Rice splits out to the left side. Chris Dressel tight right. They try to sweep to Waters. He's jammed up and knocked backwards. Lost the yard. Joe Kelly made the tackle, the middle linebacker. It'll be 3rd and goal.
That quick shift by the 49ers created all kinds of problems for the Jets as they were running around like the fire drill. But sometimes when that happens, it throws off the blocking patterns of the offense. And you saw the penetration that the Jets defense got that time and threw Waters for a 1-yard loss.
3rd and goal from the 1. 13th play of the drive. Williams is tight to the left. Rice goes in motion. Waters dives in. Touchdown, San Francisco. And we're going to get some flags for unnecessary celebrations in the end zone, I'll bet.
Yeah. Well, you know the officials know the commissioner's here.
Right.
Unsportsmanlike conduct after the touchdown, number 32, taunting, 15 yards on the kickoff.
Well, that's a rule that I really hate to see, because here's this guy's very first NFL touchdown, and he gets tagged for 15 yards for celebrating. I mean, let's give him a break. Watch Roy Foster and Tom Rathman hit this hole right in front of Waters. That is just beautiful execution. They drilled both Jets. Waters sails into the end zone for the touchdown.
Now, the reason he was given the flag is because he spiked the ball at the feet of one of the Jets. So I'm sure that'll be the official explanation.
Good.
Well,
Ricky Waters gets the touchdown. 6:55 to go, 3rd quarter. 31-zip. Jets are about to get the ball.
fell touchdown. Watch as he sails into the end zone behind Foster and Rathman. And he's going to score a lot more touchdowns in his career, and he's going to have to learn 1 or 2 things. First of all, you can't look at the guy and spike it this way. You got to drop it down over your shoulder that way, and he wouldn't have been called for the penalty. Watch this one. And the ball bounces up and hits Washington, and the flags come down. Well, Washington thought it was kind of hilarious.
Especially when he saw the 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, and this is unusual. Now the ball is all the way back at the 20-yard line, and this should give the Jets wonderful field position.
Well, the monetary tab has been established. Tim Harris can talk to you about that. He got fined $2,000 for taunting here a couple of weeks ago. So Ricky can expect to get in the pocketbook, I would expect.
That's Darren Jordan. He must have a broken hand or something.
Or something.
Yeah. Or he's carrying around a 6-gun in there.
After the 15-yard penalty, McMillan at the 27. Finally knocked down by Darren Jordan at the 39-yard line.
You know, the Jets do not have a no-huddle offense. So they're going to be really tested to try and even get in the end zone and get it back into this one.
San Francisco 49ers get ready to catch the hottest team in the NFL. The San Francisco 49ers right here on the Valley Sports Network, AM 1330 and 1470.
Ah, you say, why Youngstown? Ah, we say.
I think the owner of the 49ers has a place there, doesn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
The Barlow family, of course, is from Youngstown. By the way, the 49ers as an organization are also trying to help out the victims of Hurricane Iniki on the island of Kauai. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a sec. Here's Kenny O'Brien going back. He gets rid of it left side. It's incomplete. And it'll be second down and 10. Much rightfully was made of the Miami Dolphins and their help to the victims of Hurricane Andrew in Miami in the aftermath of that disastrous storm. Well, the 49ers vacationed as a team on the island of Kauai, and they have a close associationship with the people of that island. And among other things, they're trying to collect bottled water to get it over to the devastated island. So.
Talked to Bill McPherson yesterday about all of his friends over there in Kauai, and very concerned and trying to do as much as they can to take care of those people.
O'Brien, Burkett, diving catch. See if that's enough to move the chain. 4 completions, 9 completions, 4 interceptions, and 3 sacks.
In those 3 sacks, courtesy of Tim Harris, who last year, the entire season, only had 3 sacks for San Francisco.
Tim Harris, he of the holstered 6 guns. And they'll measure to see if the Jets got the first down.
You know, Burkett was on the ground and rolled over, and he rolled over just far enough to pick up that first down. That's pretty good awareness of where you are on the field and what you need to pick up yardage. The Jets MVP last year for heady plays like that.
How about Tampa Bay going on the road and leading Minnesota, trying to go 3-0 for the year?
It must be the orange pants. What do you think?
I think it is. Sam White has nothing to do with it.
It's not much of a fashion statement, but something's working down there.
First down and 10 Jets, who are trying to keep them going 0-3 in 92, but that's an uphill battle. They trail 31-0. Blair Thomas down to the 45-yard line. Jerry Rice, 1 touchdown catch today.
Making dinner reservations. Celebrating. You know, talking to Koslett yesterday about this season, he says that we're really an okay team right now. We can't afford to have our injuries. And last week they lose their leader on their defense. They seem to be a flat team right now that really needs some type of pickup offensively or defensively. And it's up to the players to do it, and it's not getting done right now.
Second down and 4. O'Brien from Boyer. Merton Hanks. He is right there to knock him out of bounds. 31 zip here. Let's find out what's going on elsewhere around the league. Here's Greg.
All right, Vern, at the Metrodome,
Harry Allen from 1 yard out goes up and over and does the appropriate end zone dance. With the extra point, the Vikings now lead Tampa Bay 14-13, 9.5 to play in the third. Vern?
I wonder if the commissioner saw that.
I was thinking there are no flags thrown there.
No, that's not taunting. That's just bad dancing.
3rd down and 1. 31 zip. 5:07 to go, 3rd quarter. Well, everybody had the snap count except Jim Sweeney.
That's because of all the work he did with me before the game.
Right.
I always went on the quick count with Sweeney. This time the ball was supposed to come up on 2, and it didn't come up till 3.
False start. Quarterback coming out without the ball. Before the snap, 3rd down, 5-yard penalty.
Jim Sweeney, who has tattoos on both of his calves. He's a sentimental sort.
He's got a tattoo of his bulldog on his
Right.
left calf.
Spike. A good Pittsburgh kind of guy. 3rd and 6. 4:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter. O'Brien deep right side. Al Toon in front of Eric Davis. It'll be 4th down. So they were looking at 3rd and 1, and now they're going to have to give up the ball.
Or are they? Remember earlier in the first half, Koslet had a 4th and 6 and went for it with a running play, and he's got to go for it now, being down 31-0.
Now Bruce says might as well. So for the 3rd time in the ball game, they will go for the 1st down on 4th down. Rob Moore comes near side. Toon and Burkett go far side. It's 4th and 6. O'Brien, water ball. Toon can't hang on. And the ball goes over. This was the team that thought they might be 3-0 after today. Listings for the game in your area, and those folks are going to be real disappointed if they're going home here because the Detroit-Washington game is not going to be televised in the New York area. Here's the toss to Ricky Waters out to the 50-yard line.
This is really was a golden opportunity for the Jets to grab hold of this town. With the Giants 0-2 and people complaining about their head coach, the Jets hope to get off to a good start, but have not played very well the last 2 weeks. Real flat today against the 49ers, and they've blown a real opportunity to have some identity here in the Big Apple.
5-0 in preseason, and then played fairly well after falling behind 17-0 in Atlanta. They lost the game. Here's Young. Oh, nice pass. Incomplete. Knocked away from Mike Sherrard. And then got blown out in the second half of Pittsburgh last week. They have not been in it today. Ken O'Brien asking for any kind of help that he can get.
Talking to Walt Harris upstairs. Either that or he's dialing 911.
Could be. It'll be 3rd and 7. 31-0.
Right now, all you're looking for if you're O'Brien is, hey, let's just make a 1st down. Let's do something positive. This guy has been doing positive things all year long.
Quarterback drawn. Steve Young, 1st down at the 40-yard line. That one designed all the way, and Steve Young picks up 9 yards. 50 yards for Steve Young on 4 carries.
You know, most of the runs that the 49ers have had success with have been wide. You see 52 yards to the left side, but all these runs up the middle have been Steve Young's. That's where he's got half of his yardage.
Well, this is a team that travels well. They do travel first class, and they know how to make the most out of road trips. Until last year, they had a phenomenally successful road record. Here's a quick flip left side to Sherrard, and Mo Lewis drives Mike Sherrard down. Browning Nagel continues to warm up, but I doubt they will see.
I'd be really surprised if Kosel put him in the game. Remember, this was only the 3rd game of the year, 13 remaining for the Jets. And the one thing you don't want to have happen is for Nagel to suffer a setback that would keep him out of the lineup any longer. They expect him to be back next week when they go out to LA to play the Rams.
2nd down and 7. Ricky Watters to the 35-yard line.
But in defense of Ken O'Brien, the Jets have not been able to control the ball on the ground. So whether it's O'Brien or Nagel, it might not have made any difference this afternoon.
54, 53 yards total rushing yardage for the Jets. And that's equal to the number that, or less than the number that Ricky Watters has. The 49ers with Watters 55 yards and Young 50. Tack on a 23-yard run by Jerry Rice. And on 3rd down, the 49ers, Steve Young goes back. Deep left side, Jerry Rice. Wow! The last time you saw that in this stadium was at the other end of the field when he had caught the pass in the playoffs against the Giants and dropped the ball while running in the open field.
Ball was just a tad behind him, but you don't see it very often. We've seen it twice now in 3 games from Rice. Watch as he has to wait for this ball. He knows that McMillan is coming, but he's got to make that grab, and you expect him to every time. That would have been touchdown number 99 for Jerry Rice.
That was the 49-3 disaster that the 49ers suffered at the hands of the Giants. A game in which Joe Montana had a back injury as well. On 4th and 5, they'll go for it. Into the flat. Whoa! Mike Grimm. Good play. Listen to it.
Listen to it and feel it.
Well, they're booing Ken O'Brien as he comes back out.
The 49ers, along with Michael Carter, unique situation with their defensive linemen. They'll rotate 6 guys in there. And what that does is it keeps them all fresh, and it allows them not to have to pace themselves throughout a ball game. They can go all out every play and know that adequate substitutions are there to give them a blow.
2nd and 10, O'Brien back. Blitz is coming. O'Brien across the middle. Boyer for the 1st down out at the 48-yard line. Mark Boyer, the tight end. Eric Davis makes the tackle.
And of course, last week the 49ers saw all too much of the tight end position as Metzlar's had a big day against them. Boyer, with that grab there, he's playing with a bad knee himself.
1st down 10, 1 minute exactly remaining 3rd quarter. 31 to zip. Harris comes over to the near side. They list his 49er defense. List Harris as a linebacker, but he plays solely in the down position. O'Brien rolls away from Harris, lets it go. Sadowski can't hang on as he's popped by Johnny Jackson. Offensive line plays in this ball game. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and that's balance. I mean, you've got guys that are equally talented. There's good depth there. They can handle an injury situation. Remember, Fagan was hurt early in the game. He had to come out. He's back in there now. Good competition as well.
Fagan and Washington and Carter and Harris. O'Brien is back for the 4th time. Ted Washington gets him. And keep in mind, he's the freshest of the front guys.
Yeah, he's been in on the least amount of plays in that defensive line, and he picks up the 4th sack of the afternoon for San Francisco.
You saw these two teams the last time they played here, and that was when O'Brien got sacked 9 times.
There he is, fresh guy. Let's put a 1 up there for sack.
And that brings up a 3rd and 17. So Harris has 3, Washington 1. Now it's Roberts and Carter and Harris as the 3-down linemen. Across the middle for Kett. Romanowski misses the tackle. And then Thane Gash makes it at the 50, but it'll be 4th down. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score 31-0. Our coverage continues after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 4th down, the Jets will go for it. They need the 42-yard line. O'Brien, left side, incomplete. And the 49ers take over. Steve Bono is warming up on the sidelines, and we're going to see Steve Bono at quarterback. So Steve Young is done for the day. 15 of 22, 163 yards throwing the football. 4 rushes for 50 yards and a touchdown. And boy, if you go to a backup, here's not a bad one.
In fact, it was here in New York about 3 years ago when Steve Bono made his debut for the 49ers. Young was hurt, Montana was out, and Bono came on and had a heck of an afternoon, and everybody said, hey, who is that guy? Everybody knows him now.
Of course, he led them to that victory string at the end of last year. Here's Rathman getting the handoff as the 49ers will try and work on the clock now. San Francisco with 31-14 win in week 1 here. They lost 34-31 last week. They seem to have found a number they're comfortable with offensively.
Yeah, and you don't want to go down. You want to go up. They want to add some more points to that. You got to get out of that 31 rut, though, because if you don't, people start talking about it and making a controversy. Hey, Seifert, you guys are only scoring 31 every day.
2nd down and 8. Amp Lee is in the lineup. Bono, right side. Knew that Washington was coming. The ball is intercepted on the deflection by Mike Brim. He had a return for a touchdown last week, so Steve Bono, the ball tipped as he went for Jerry Rice. The pass intercepted.
Well, and Rice kind of gives us a half-hearted effort here. He goes up with just one hand and makes the deflection. Of course, the ball is real high, but you expect Jerry Rice to make that grab every time. And this time, it's Michael Brim with the interception. Against Jim Kelly and that Buffalo offense, when they can spread the field and put Thurman Thomas, take him out of the backfield, line him up as a wide receiver, that creates all kinds of problems for a secondary, and especially a young secondary. The 49ers defensive backs, they only have 3 1/4 years of experience, and Kelly just murdered him last week. Good bounce back rebound for the 49er defense with a shutout so far.
1st down and 10 for the Jets. They hand it off to JB. A flag is down in the offensive backfield. Holding Jets. Roy Foster and Steve Young on the near side. And Gary Lane, the referee's going to let us know who was the guilty.
Holding, 66 on the offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
Dave Cadigan. It's going to be a little chilly when he sits down, isn't it?
I wonder if that's when he got hit by Steve Wallace in the end zone after scoring a touchdown. Nothing wrong with a little bag of ice. That doesn't hurt quite as bad when you're up 31-0. See the rib pads. Every quarterback should wear them if they don't.
Make sure that ice doesn't slip. 1st down and 20 for the Jets with 13:43 to go. Now handed off, and Shafee comes to the right side, gains a yard or 2. Romanowski with the tackle, and so did Tim Harris. 31 zip here. Let's go back across the Hudson and check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Vern, at the Metrodome, Sean Salisbury in for injured Vikings quarterback Rich Gannon throws his first career touchdown pass, 29 yards to Chris Carter, and the Vikings now lead the Bucs 21-13, 2:44 to play in the 3rd, Vern.
All right, Greg, 31 zip here with 13:10 remaining in the ball game, and it's 2nd down and 18. O'Brien, little screen pass right side. And Blair Thomas is tripped up as he gets to the 36-yard line. This is a 49ers secondary that was riddled last week by Joe Kelly, but it's a relatively inexperienced bunch.
And Jim Kelly had a pretty good day, too.
Yes.
The one guy we're missing on this group is his #1 pick. That's Dana Hall. He had a sore left knee, heavily wrapped today, and got the day off. But remember, he's a cornerback in college that has been put into probably the most difficult position in that secondary. That's weak safety.
O'Brien left side, caught by Thomas. Merton Hanks makes the tackle at the 41. Dana Hall really had not played all that well in the first 2 games either.
Well, it's almost unfair to ask a guy with no experience at that position to step in. And the other thing I think that's going against Hall is who's the all-time greatest safety to ever play for the 49ers? Well,
Ronnie
that's
Lott.
Ronnie Lott. And it's almost a situation that Steve Young finds himself in with Joe Montana. How do you follow a legend? Hall will learn, and he probably could learn a few things by watching the way Steve Young performed.
Last week, the Buffalo-San Francisco game, no punt because there weren't any 4th downs. Well, the Jets are setting a record for going for it on 4th down, and Mark Boyer just got the 1st down with a little extra effort.
Outstanding effort, because there was 2 men there trying to deny him the yardage, and he just reached out as he was falling down. Watch the end of this play. Boyer's number 80 on the right side of the offensive line. He doesn't have the 1st down now, and there's the 2 defensive backs, but when he reaches out with that right hand, it's just enough to probably make the highlight of the day for the Jets offense.
2 of 5 on 4th down conversions for the Jets. And Bruce Coslett's team has a 1st down 10 at their own 48. O'Brien looks deep, settles an immediate route, and tipped away by Hanks. He had a deflection that led to an interception for Larry Roberts earlier. Merton Hanks is a 2nd-year man from Iowa. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. 10:42 to go, 3rd quarter. Jets go back on the road next week. They've got to go out to the West Coast to take on the Los Angeles Rams, and then at home on the first Sunday in October, a nighttime game against New England. 49ers are on the road again, something they've grown used to there in New Orleans next week. Fade pattern, Terrence Mathis, nice play on both ends. O'Brien to Mathis over Eric Davis.
They bump and run on the outside. It's Eric Davis, number 25, who's going to get beat here. I think Mathis just surprised him with his quickness, and O'Brien puts up a very catchable pass. Davis with the catch-up speed to make the tackle, but O'Brien's got to be feeling a little bit better about himself now after this completion. Just puts the ball inside the 20, and the Jets desperately need to score.
O'Brien rolls right, fires it right, caught by Mathis, and Eric Davis with the tackle.
And the ball.
And the ball. They're going to say down by contact, and then Davis came up with it.
That's the old tie base goes to the runner, simultaneous catch goes to the offense. And Mathis has it to begin with, and then when they hit the ground, Davis wrestles it away from him.
Gain of 8, 1st down, or 2nd down and 1. Carpenter and Mathis go to the left side. Boyer is tight to the right. Baxter in motion now, followed by Mike Walter. O'Brien into the end zone. Carpenter, touchdown. Well, the shutout is avoided. The Jets are on the board with 9:08 remaining in the ball game. And Jason Starowski is on to try the extra point.
Good job of O'Brien moving around, finding a receiver, and again, it's a receiver in the back of the end zone. It's the high throw, though, that makes the play a touchdown. Carpenter 6'2", and O'Brien puts it in a perfect place.
With a touchdown catch to Rob Carpenter, but that's kind of an empty TD.
Yeah, although it's Carpenter's first of his NFL career, so let's celebrate with Rob Carpenter, but the Jets have just been outplayed by really probably the class of the NFL right now. The 49ers seem to be back to where they were when they were winning all those NFL championships. And Steve Young has really established himself as the leader of this football team, throwing and running.
And as a result of that, the 49ers are up 31-7. Aguiar kicks it deep. Alan Grant is back to return it. And good downfield coverage. Marcus Turner made the tackle at the 7-yard line. If you think the abortion issue has turned angry, ugly, and violent, wait until you see what the environmental issue is turning.
Delivering some terror themselves here.
4-9. Bono continues at quarterback. See who else George Seifert has in there. Handoff goes to Rathman. He runs into Mo Lewis at the 11. They'll work on the clock again. See Tom Rathman's receptions per game, though he carried on the last one.
He's leading the NFL in touchdowns scored coming into today with 4. Only one of those on the ground. Today the 49ers have scored twice on the ground, Young and Ricky Watters. A lot of talent, as usual, on that 49er offense.
They are looking now at a second down from the 11. Bono called timeout. And that stops the clock with 8:11 remaining in the ball game. It's still 31-7. Washington Redskins with Mark Griffin at the controls. Fellows like Art Monk catching the ball. They take on the Detroit Lions, who haven't won there since Dan and I were toddlers.
I wasn't even born yet, Vern.
Well, it's a nice day for a walk.
Those people have a real bad case of the happy feet. Not a good sign.
They are people who do not have enough to do.
It's a beautiful day, you know, in New York, and you might as well be out here that you can almost start to smell the hibachis and barbecues going in the parking lot, because they had plenty. They had plenty of time to get them fired up.
Well, there were 77,000 here at the start of the game. I'd say about an eighth of that. Browning Nagel.
And Jeff Lageman on the sideline.
Right. Second down and 7 for Steve Bono. Backup offensive line is in there. Hamp Lee goes to the right. Bono looks across the middle, caught by Jerry Rice. And he flies down the sidelines. Of course, John Taylor was injured in the first quarter of play, reducing the number of receivers that the 49ers have to 3. Rice, Gerard, and Odessa Turner.
You know, if Seifert's going to substitute along his offensive line, take Ricky Watters out of the game, put Amp Lee in, take Young out of the game, put Bono in, what's Jerry Rice doing in there? I mean, this guy had a concussion last week. I bet you Jerry wants to play because he dropped a couple of balls. What do you think?
I think that's probably exactly what happened. He's lined up left with Mike Gerard. Amp Lee comes left and is down at the 31-yard line. 7:35 to go.
I always like to talk to the offensive linemen about the guys they have to block for. I talked to Roy Foster, guard for the 49ers, about both Ricky Watters and Amp Lee. And what he had to say about Watters is that he is a real enthusiastic guy and has an infectious attitude and makes everybody pick up their energy. With Amp Lee, he says this guy is smooth. He's a real glider. He's patient. He sets his blocks up well. Really high compliments from a veteran for a couple of young running backs.
2nd down and 9 now. The clock's still running. We're under the 7-minute mark. The snap is made. Bono settles short behind. Almost. How about that? Odessa Turner, the last man to touch it. Looked like volleyball. Had it, lost it, got it back, dropped it.
When can you be first and last in the same play? Well, Turner was the first guy to touch it right here with his left hand. Then Mo Lewis tries with those bad hands of his. And now Turner tries the right hand and drops it. Hot potato.
And a 3rd down and 9. We might get a rare peek at the highest paid man in the NFL per play. The punter, Klaus Wilmsmeyer. He's punted once today, none last week, and twice in week 1.
Not exactly a household name either.
No. 3rd and 9. Jerry Rice. Let's see if Klaus is coming on. Yes, he will. Answering the question of whatever happened to, here he is. He was a 12th round draft choice of Tampa Bay, cut when the 49ers were not happy with their punters, particularly Joe Prokop, the latest one. They also had Dale Hatcher in camp. They signed Wilmsmeyer to the practice squad the week before the regular season opened and activated him as a young man who kicked for Louisville, a native of Canadian, and this will be his 4th punt in the National Football League. Lots of enthusiasm on the Jet bench.
Timeout, New York Jets. That is their first charge team timeout.
New York Jets call time. That stops the clock with 5:59 remaining.
Well, I think we can do this right here. Put the old 5 up there. 0 for New York.
And the Giants are out of here this afternoon, flying to Chicago, where they take on the Bears. Going out with a load of optimism. Said, boy, they're tough out there.
Yeah, the Bears coming off a disappointing loss to New Orleans, where they didn't even get in the end zone, lost 28-6. Their offense turned the ball over twice for touchdowns for the Saints. And so they're going to be in a surly mood come Monday night.
Well, the Jets had hopes of running the ball well today against the 49ers. It has not worked out that way. Blair Thomas, 41 yards on 9 carries, but they're under 60 yards on the ground as a team. Here's Wilmsmeyer. They come at it, and they do not block it. We're going to have a roughing the punter call. Marcus Turner came after the block. He did not touch the ball. He did get the kicker, and the 49ers will get the ball back.
And that's going to be the 15-yard variety, roughing the kicker. And I don't know how Turner misses the ball. Left side of the screen here is about 6 or 7 guys in green that have a shot at it. But you know, he dove too far. You're always taught when you're trying to block a kick is to dive where the guy drops the ball, not where he is. And Turner went for the body and not the ball. And another mistake for the Jets.
As a result, Steve Bono back out. And Klaus Wilmsmeyer can talk about how brutal this game is.
He really took a lick, didn't he? Bounced right up.
Offensive line, 134 yards rushing today. The Jets gave up 190 to Barry Foster last week. And there was a goofy-looking play. Jesse Cipolla is the only one who's a veteran in that offensive line. Well, Steve Wallace is in there as well. But Cipolla was the only one who had sure command of the snap count.
Well, he should. He's the center.
Right.
I think he might have been a little early, though. Yeah, that reaction right there kind of tells it all. Come on, guys. When I snap the ball, let's all go.
See, Ralph Tam, number 64, is in the lineup. Brian Bollinger, number 71. Harry Boatswain, number 65. And Jerry Rice getting some attention on the bench.
New Band-Aid.
5:28 remaining. Amp Lee comes to the left side. Run out of bounds at the 46.5-yard line in front of the 49er bench.
And if there's one thing that the 49ers don't want to have happen now is to have the clock stopped by a rookie running out of bounds. You got to give up those yards and hit the turf just before you go out of bounds so that clock keeps running. And I'm sure that Lee will hear about it from his teammates because they're interested in one thing right now, getting on that big plane and flying west.
With a 2-1 record and the game at home coming up, or rather on the road at New Orleans, and then the Rams at home. And then all the way back across the country to New England. The 49ers lead the league in frequent flyer miles again this year.
And maybe they ought to train in Youngstown, Ohio.
Whoa, boy. Odessa Turner is popped and loses the ball. And Mo Lewis picks it up for the Jets. Odessa Turner really took a belt. Brian Washington made the contact.
Real big hit by Washington as he goes up top. And then Lewis picks up the fumble, and the Jets have a rare turnover.
And understandably, Odessa Turner is still down at the 33-yard line, having taken the hit from Brian Washington.
Now he's hearing all kinds of bells ringing right now.
John Taylor already out with a broken fibula in his left leg. And the 49ers, of course, carry Jerry Rice and Mike Gerard on the roster. And George Seifert a little concerned, I'm sure, with the depletion of his receiver corps.
Well, and with Brent Jones, a tight end with a bad hamstring and inactive today, the 49ers don't have the luxury of going to a 2 tight end offense. So they picked up Chris Dressel this week, but that leaves them with just 2 tight ends. And Dressel, of course, probably isn't all that familiar with the offense yet.
John Taylor went out on the first drive of the game after making a key 3rd down catch. Got dressed and came back out. He's on crutches and has spent much of the day in conversation with Joe Montana, who's on injured reserve. And go back to that Amp Lee play 2 plays ago. Watch what almost happens at the end of the play.
First he goes out of bounds, and now this guy here trying to get out of the way is John Taylor. He said, hey, man, I got a broken leg. Don't be coming over this way.
That's enough. Now Odessa Turner is up and walking off.
Yeah, he has no idea what state he's in. He's in altered states right now.
Well, after making the catch and being popped, he drops it, and the Jets recover. They have a first down with 4:43 remaining in the game. There's Brian Washington, who made the hit on Odessa Turner. Out of the shotgun, Ken O'Brien and the New York Jets, who are about to drop to 0-3 for the year. O'Brien left side, caught by Shafee. Out of bounds to stop the clock with 4:37 remaining. Philly rolling over Denver.
Saw Philly in their first game of the year against New Orleans, Vern, and of course they had the emotional lift of the touching ceremonies honoring Jerome Brown for retiring his jersey, but that is a team that is focused, and they are very talented now. That addition of Herschel Walker, a lot of people laughed at that move by the Eagles when they picked him off of the waiver wire, but it's really paying off.
There's a catch by Boyer for a loss, and David Whitmore is right in his face. They lost yardage all the way back to the 28-yard line.
Now, see, the football is going to be passed, and it's going to be because of the tackle. Boyer, who's about 3 yards away from him, and the force of the pass is enough to knock Boyer off balance. And remember, he's playing with a bad left knee. I'm sure that's what contributed to him going down so easily.
3rd and 9. Burkett, or rather Carpenter with a catch. Short of the first down, so for the 6th time in the ball game, the Jets will go for it on 4th down. They're looking at a 4th and 1, and they are 2 of 5 thus far.
And it was the first 4th down and 6 situation in the first quarter where Koslet went for it with a running play. The Jets did not get it, turned the ball over, and they were in field goal range at the time. Maybe Koslet's confidence in his kicker, Stavrovsky, isn't as strong as it might be if he was off to a good start this year.
Shapey has the first down. And the clock shows 3:05 remaining.
This is the game plan for the Jets, and you can see not a lot of success running the ball to the left. Not a lot of success running up the middle. They have had, you know, a 7-yard average running it to the right, so why aren't they running it more to the right?
Well, it's a irrelevant fact now because we've got only 2:40 remaining in the ball game. First down and 10. Sweeney snaps it back to Ken O'Brien. Terrence Mathis goes by 2-3. Foot race is on. He's got the speed. Touchdown. 55 yards. Another example of bad dancing in the end zone. And how ironic, should the score stay this after the extra point, that the 49ers would have come east twice in the first 3 weeks of the season and defeat the local team by a count of 31-14.
93 points in 3 games. That's working it pretty good on offense.
Stavrovsky's extra point is up and good.
This is the 2nd touchdown of young Terrence Mathis's NFL career, and he does it all by himself, just outrunning people, making good moves. Got a little help downfield, but it's just pure speed as he turns it on inside the 20 and takes it in.
Three for 100 and a touchdown for Terrence Mathis. And it comes with 2:20 remaining in the ball game. What's next rather for Koslet? They've got to go out west to take on the Rams, then back home against New England, on the road at Indianapolis, and then the bye week in the middle of October.
And I think this is what Koslet meant, looking at that schedule with those 3 teams based upon what they did last year and what they're doing so far this year. He knows that they're down now 0-3, but it is a long year that feels good about his ball club. Been a turnover in personnel. Right now, he's got to get their attention, though, and get them back on that winning track. Get that feeling back that they had last year when they made the playoffs and when they were 5-0 in the preseason. Still can manage a grin and a smile and a little laugh with
That's
Pete
good
Carroll.
to see, because I don't think there's any question that Bruce Koslet is going to succeed with the New York Jets. I think he's got an aggressive young staff, and this season has not started as most thought it would for the Jets, but he's really a bright young coach. Here's the onside attempt. Matt Shakey gets it. And like echoes in a cavern, the few remaining resound with a cheer for the onside kick. Matt Shapey got it.
You really couldn't ask for a better bounce, as this ball was going along on the ground, but it caught one of the corners. Watch as it just skids along until it just catches a corner of the ball and bounces over Hanks' head, and there's Chafee. Nice job of R.J. Coors taking Hanks out of the picture.
Hit him with a silver bullet.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind being hit by one myself about now.
You're a half an hour away. 2:15 remaining in the ball game. 31-14. And that pass incomplete, intended for Carpenter. Martin Harrison was coming for the 49ers.
Well, O'Brien's going to feel it tomorrow morning if he's not feeling it already today. Been knocked down a number of times. But the one thing about Kenny O'Brien is he has taken a pounding over the years and is a tough guy. I mean, he never seems to get hurt, and he just gets tagged time after time.
Second down and 10 with 2:12 to go in the ball game. Here's Mathis in crossing pattern again. And time will be not called. We'll go to the 2-minute warning. We are at the 2-minute warning. And the New York Jets have a first down and 10, but they trail 31-14 to the 49ers. Teams, the New York Jets trailing the 49ers 31-14. The Jets do have a first down at the 41-yard line. Bruce Kozlick's bunch outscored 24-0 in the half, and they've come back with 2 touchdowns in the final quarter.
Really salted it away at the end of the second period when they had the turnover from Larry Roberts on the interception, went down, and Young got it in the end zone again.
O'Brien just does avoid the sack, and Terrence Mathis can't hang on. It's incomplete. Of course, this is the first half of our doubleheader on CBS. Most of you will see Detroit at Washington in Game 2 from RFK. Others will watch the Rams at Miami and Phoenix at Dallas, the second game of our doubleheader here on CBS. It'll be second down and 10. Brian Browning-Nagle might be ready next week, you think?
He's got that Joe Walton look, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah, he's got the hat on backwards. Well, that name will send shivers through Jet fans, huh?
Into the flat for Chafee, and he drops it.
Nagle should be back. Talked to him before the game, and that was really his concern, is that he doesn't re-injure that finger and that he can play next week against the Rams in Anaheim.
He does have a strong arm.
Oh, man, he's got a gun. In fact, this finger injury may help him in the long run and have him develop a little, help him develop a little bit of touch, because he can throw the fastball. He's got to learn how to throw that changeup and make it easier to catch for some of his receivers.
O'Brien pulls up, has a man open. Whitmore knocks it away with 1:44 remaining of the game. Looks like Tampa's going to go down to the feet. John Salisbury has led them back. Cincinnati hangs on to a lead. They could get off to a 3-0 start. And Kansas City has come back and tied up Houston now in the fourth quarter.
Seattle looking for their first win up in Foxborough.
What's caught your attention early on?
I think some of the new coaches, you know, David Shula, with his good start there. Sam White's done a nice job with the Bucks, but you know, I still like the front runners. I like the Niners and the Bills. That game last week was a lot of fun to watch.
On fourth down, here's the pass caught by Boyer. That is not going to be enough to give the Jets a new series of downs. And there's a player down for the 49ers all the way back at the 45-yard line.
It's like Larry Roberts.
Oh, boy.
Holding his right leg. You fear that it might be a knee injury and hope for the best that it's not.
All the way back at the 45. And concerned George Seifert is out 3 yards out on the field.
That's just really what you're afraid of in situations like this. You take a look here at Roberts, And it's a scramble situation for the quarterback. And there he gets cut low by one of the offensive linemen. A clean block, but nonetheless, down around those knees.
Over to the bench where a very concerned George Seifert looks on. 93 seconds remaining, and the 49ers will try and run out the clock. And the Jets will not use their timeout, so the clock will continue to run. Today's game was produced by Michael Burks and directed by Andy J. Kindle. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. And the senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. Final 1:10. And both teams will allow the clock to expire. Bruce Coslett and the Jets go to 0-3. Steve Young and the 49ers 2-1.
Young's a guy that's just getting more and more comfortable in his role on this football team now. Unquestionably the leader. Seifert has not bowed to the public, stuck with them, and the guy has performed fantastically for him.
Coming up next, Detroit and Washington. Others of you will see Phoenix at Dallas, and still others will watch the Rams at Miami. And just a reminder to those of you watching in the New York City area that the Detroit-Washington game will not be televised in New York City. Well, a successful trip back for the San Francisco 49ers. 2 out of the first 3 weeks they play at Giant Stadium. On both occasions, they get back on the charter to head west, victors by a 31-14 count. Joe Montana, and the 49ers win it. So for Dan Fouts, this is Vern Lundquist saying so long from Giant Stadium, where the final score, 31-14 San Francisco. Coming up next, most of you will see the Detroit Lions